the chip paint off of these things. I wonder where they get that. Well, you think, they thinking about going out and stripping the paint? No, they're not doing that. They want to end hunting. That's what their goal is. And so, starting 2019, after Jerry Brown leaves, that's when the law will go into effect, and we will not be able to have any ammunition on our persons when we are hunting of any kind whatsoever for any hunting period, or else we will be in violation of the law. The problem with that is that the federal government declares all of the non-lead ammunition, orange bullets and nodular monolithics and all those things, they have them under the category of armor piercing, and therefore technically illegal. They haven't been enforcing it yet, but think about this. The VATF has a law, you know, swinging over everybody's heads and just sucking everybody in. It's the only thing they can use, orange bullets and nozzlers, the new Hornadies, you know, some of the other non-lead containing bullets. Everybody buys them and says, oh, that's illegal. That is considered armor piercing ammunition. You're in violation of the law. We're going to shut down all hunting. Period. That's the reality. That's why that bill is dangerous. So those are the pieces of legislation that the governor signed. We pretty much did damage to everything else. And as of right now, being the legislature are a bunch of lazy people, they've introduced a bunch of what are called spot bills. It's a bill that says, this law affects the penal code. And they introduced that bill, and there's nothing in it. So we have, it's like they're going peekaboo with us, and one of these days they will fill those spot bills with the real bill that they want to do. So we don't know how many gun bills they're going to sponsor. There have been a couple, maybe 2 or 4 bills that have been sponsored. And they're starting to get way on the edges. Way on the edges on bills that they're sponsoring. Why? Because we just happen to kick the royal snorrians in the cowboy boot in the rump in the courts. Senator Kevin De Leon, who kind of walks like this, because he passed a bill to register handgun ammunition, and we took him to court. And the federal court said, no, the state court said, nah, unconstitutional. What is handgun ammunition? Well, it's all the ammo that's been built for handguns. Okay, thank you, Thompson Contender. That has been made to fire 4570, 223, 308, all the rifle calibers. Okay, so when is rifle caliber ammunition, handgun ammunition, and how is the cop going to know? A police officer or a deputy, how are they going to know whether it's being used for handguns or what? It is unconstitutionally vague, therefore your law is unconstitutional. And even though it's in the books, it's kind of fun when we get to go and go, well, you get to skip this part of the law. And we don't have handgun ammunition registration. He sponsored a bill to register all ammunition, but when they realized that that was going to wipe out an entire industry in the state of California that provides a lot of sales tax revenue, they decided, well, we're going to kind of hold it in committee for a little while and see what happens. We don't know what's really going to be sponsored. There's a bill by Senator De Leon that bans, or has anybody heard of the 3D printer guns? Yeah. Okay, 3D printer guns. For those who don't know, it's a box, it's an aquarium where they shoot laser beams in, and the water has got floating plastic, and when the laser beams cross, it hardens the plastic. And somebody with a computer program can actually manufacture a beautiful plastic handgun. And some guy in Texas showed how you can actually shoot it. Of course, it's about this big. He shot the first 6 of them, and they blew up every time he shot them. And then finally he designed one that didn't blow up, and it's not all plastic because he had to use a metal firing pin. So it's not invisible, and anybody who sees something come through the x-ray and says, wait a minute, that's a firing pin. Open it up. Well, you have a 3D printer and you're breaking the law and take it. They also want to ban the 80%ers. Anybody know what the 80%ers are? Well, that's where, you know, under our law, it's kind of a vestige of freedom that we have. Under federal law, anybody can build a firearm. for their own use if they have no intention of selling it. You can build it and keep it and shoot it, and it's completely legal. You don't even have to put a serial number on it. As long as you have no intention on getting rid of it, and it's legal for you to possess a gun, and the gun that you are manufacturing is a legal gun that you can possess. You can't build a Thompson Model 1927 A1 full automatic with a 100-round drum magazine or anything like that. You can't do that. But you can build it. I've actually got one to talk about that. You can't do that. Well, he wants to. The staff is getting brave and they're telling him, hey, you can't ban those. It's allowed under federal law. So what he's going to require is for the 80%ers and for the plastic 3D guns, for anybody who builds one will have to request from the Department of Justice a serial number on a metal tag that will have to be put on the gun that we're in a condition where it cannot be removed. There's nothing on any gun that cannot be removed. So that's one of the bills that we're kind of chuckling on that bill because it's really, really a bad one. And we really don't know what all of the other bills are yet, but we will let you know. Legislation, that's pretty much gone. Elections. This is going to be an incredibly important election year. If you don't know there was a very important test election, special election going on in Florida today. A Republican who ran on anti-Obamacare and a Democrat who championed Obamacare. Well, she is now vacationing in Miami for the rest of her life because the Republican cleaned her clock. Elections are very important. And just like Gun Owners of America, our national organization based in Virginia, and we've got staff out here, we work in a race in Florida. We're going to be asking you folks to help us working in races in the Central Valley, in Southern California, and the other side of the coastal range. And we'll get some activity out here on this side too. So election information is yet to come. It's going to be a very important year. Our first goal is to push the anti-gunners over the threshold of the 2/3 supermajority so that they cannot pass anything that the governor, whether he vetoes it, they can override him. And it puts us in a stronger position. And then we're going to start working on electing pro-gun anybody. We don't care if they're a Republican, they're a Democrat, they're an independent, they're libertarian. If there's a chance of electing a pro-gunner in a seat where we need that vote, that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to hold their feet to the fire. For those of you who might remember the Senate District 16 special election, Andy Vidak. We just elected him last year in July. Special election. What happened was that the sitting senator quit. He quit because there was going to be an investigation on ethics, and they thought that he was playing footsie with the oil companies. Well, he quit, and then he became vice president of Chevron of California within a couple of weeks. And it left his hardcore Democrat district open. Andy Vidak was a farmer, a rancher, a businessman, ran, and 6 other Democrats ran. And Andy almost won it in the primary because people were sick and tired of the corruption and gobbledygook. Well, only 22% turned out. That's hardly any, but 22 out of 100 people who were registered to vote turned out. After he did that, we said, this is curious. So what we did is we completely ignored Andy. We didn't talk to anybody. And by we, it was Gun Owners California and all of the alphabet soup of gun organizations that we all know. We got together and we said, why don't we try something on our own and not tell anybody what we're going to do? Not that it's going to be a secret, because we're going to enlist 5,000 or 6,000 volunteers. And you can't keep a secret when you have 5,000 or 6,000 volunteers working on your behalf. So what we did in this special election, it was 70% vote by mail. The people that already voted who voted by mail. So we only had a very short period of time. So only 30% of the registered voters we knew are going to turn out at the polls, or they're at the poll voters. We took that, we identified all of the gun owners, all of the NRA members, all of the CRPA members, all of the gun magazine buyers, and all to get those, stealth programmers, the ones who get shooting times and guns and ammo and combat guns and all that stuff. So we printed the list, and we got the names of everybody, and then we found out who was registered to vote. And then we bounced that list against those people who were at the poll voters. And then we had the other organizations contact them by mail and say, and they said, Andy Vidak is the program guy, this is an important election. And then what we did in the University of California, we got the help of about between 5,000 and 6,000 Tea Party members throughout the state of California. And we made phone calls to every one of those 22,000 people that we identified in the last weekend of the campaign. They said, if you do that, if you push turnout higher than 22%, it is impossible for Andy Vidak to win. That's what the Republicans and the Democrats were saying. The media said, you know, it's a nice showing in the primary, but he's going to get schmealed. And again, what happened? We pushed turnout from 22% to almost 30%, and that entire margin, over 3,400 votes, went to Andy. And he was elected in the seat in a special election in a Democrat district where every newspaper in the state of California, every consultant, both Republican and Democrat, said that is an impossibility. As a matter of fact,